Hi, I'm Sydney, and these are Stories of the Infinite Yes. Today I have with me Lotus, and she has an extraordinary story to tell. Lotus, you want to share about the Infinite Yes?
I do, and I want to start with the time when I first really felt you. It was the day that I was leaving my 5-year partnership, and you were sitting at the river house, and I walked up and was crying, and you held space, and I said, it just wasn't what I wanted, and you said, well, what do you want? And I said, to live at a retreat center by the beach with partners where we grow our own food and dance dance every day in Hawaii. And you were like, that sounds good. You should do that. And within like 3 days, I had an opportunity to move to Kauai to live that life, to help start a retreat center. And I remember feeling like you were literally the living embodiment of Lakshmi, and that your infinite yesness isn't just about what you do with ceremony, it's about how you show up in life. And you were perfectly embodying that for me at a critical time for me, where I was leaving everything that was comfortable and safe and secure, and you helped me through just ask me what was my yes. So my first ceremony with you was in that wave of me choosing to go to Kauai and really like going into that portal of everything that it would take to take that risk and to have that courage. But the most powerful ceremony experience that I had was the day before my son's birthday. And I'd been split up from his dad for many years, but he'd been in our lives until about a year earlier. He had this traumatic experience where he had been struggling with addiction and he just kind of went off the map. And he'd been out of communication with anyone who knew him for months. And right before my son's birthday, my baby daddy's mom called me and said that they were going to put missing person signs up throughout Boulder to try to find him, and that I had to tell my son that he was going to see a picture of his dad on a missing person sign. And it was so heartbreaking. It was the most tragic thing I could possibly think, to have to tell my son who's about to turn 13. So I was at ceremony the night before his 13th birthday, and we all were on Sid's bed. There was like 10 of us or something, all like a big puddle of people. And it was really beautiful and platonic. There wasn't anything sensual about it at all. And we were just like really loving each other and just kind of each sharing really openly and honestly. Like, one person was talking about how he'd never touched people the way that we were touching in that moment. And this is something, for decades he'd never experienced. And people were just really opening up. And so in that space, I said, hey, would you all hold a prayer with me? I really would love to send a message out to my son's dad, Chris, to come back into our life in a good way. And so everyone, sent this energy and this love out to Chris through the field, and we had a beautiful ceremony that night. And then the next morning on my son's birthday, I opened my email and there was a message from Finn's dad where he said, I've been waiting to reach out to you until I could come in a good way. And he'd been getting sober for a couple months and he wanted to come see his son on his birthday. And it was just such undeniable proof of how we're all interconnected and the power of praying, not just ourselves, but with community. And the people that held that prayer with me didn't know me. They didn't know my son. They didn't know my son's dad. It wasn't about that. It was about being human and having empathy for each other and knowing what it is to love and to lose and to long. And they met me there, and we had a powerful force together that matched the universe unfolding, and my son's dad coming back into his son's life in a good way on his 13th birthday. So I love it, and I continued to support Sid and the community, and I've always been passionate about it being more than the sacrament and more than a ceremony, and really a culture of community coming together. And I practice practice I call co-healing that's very similar, where I say connection is the medicine. And I would say that was what was happening that night. Like, regardless of what else was going on, it was us connecting in this beautiful, intimate way that had beautiful oxytocin flowing between us. And we're so blessed.
That was really beautiful, Lotus. I'm so glad that everyone who's joining us can hear your story from your words. It's really, really beautiful.
Thank you, love. And yeah, it's been beautiful to witness the evolution of it and just how many people you've touched. And yeah, I'm really passionate about it being something you make available to the next generation too, and just feel the way that modeling this, where you're talking about people not having a sense of elders or not having anyone they can turn to, and you're providing that for people, a taste of it anyway. And I hope that we can see more of that rippling and the different ways that we're all bringing that medicine into the world.
I hope.